I want to get to the point where after facing the homies consolidated the hood, basically from Western to Fox Hills Mall, in the 70s, the hood was basically one unit, one gang, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my question is, when did the homies start giving geographical descriptions of different sections? When did that come into play?
I mean, it was always there, but it was like, you know, it was always there. You know what I mean? Because you had like I said, but in the beginning with the 6 dudes, Levi, Anthony Hatch, them, you had Has Avenue. It was just where different locations where niggas hung out at. You know what I'm saying? And Fred, them on the other side was on 6th Ave. You know what I mean? You knew about those streets. You know what I mean? Just like 10th Ave, 11th Ave, Madden, and all that.
For the dime moves and the lokes, for the 6-4s on spokes, for the OGs that did a dime, came back around on parole, for the homegirls with the scrap game, little homies that gang bang, from Pelican Bay to YA, rearrange your mind frame. Yeah, I know what you've been through, shit you had to go tend to. Your mama gave birth on the turf, I know them killers you kin to. This for the lost generation, broke as hell, man.
Lifting weights and I was on swole, they start calling me Big Miz.
Original stutter box. Eastside 5, who's Pebble on Bishop, Mill City Gangster Bloods.
Yeah, Mac, video, you know, this is for sure. Yeah, Mac, video, open your soul.
This is from the beginning.
For as Arlington, for that, if that's the question you get to, is because a lot of us used to be on Arlington. You know what I mean? And then when you come over there, it's like you getting pocket check, you gonna get run through it, you know what I'm saying? To see if you was down, if you can stand that heat. You know what I mean? And then Ronnie Page just coined the name AG. You know what I mean? And then everybody that hung on Arlington, lived on Arlington, just started saying that. Then it went from AG, MG, BG.
So Ronnie Pace is the one who coined the phrase Arlington Gangsters.
Yes.
When and why?
It was, the why part, you know what I'm saying? It was just like I was saying, it was just like we felt. You would have to ask him that, but I can only give you my perception because I was right 2nd Avenue Bleeds out, you know what I mean, and all that shit, right? But Big Rick put a stop to that. He was like, "Nah, nigga, you're on Arlington every day. This is what it is." You know what I'm saying? That was the big homie at that time. You know what I'm saying? It still is a big homie. I didn't know at that time, but that's how that went. You know what I mean? And he just wrote it one day and it just kind of like stuck because again, as far as the, Arlington, all the people that was about something came through there, you know what I'm saying? Most people, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, there's a lot of pressure on that to be on that block every day. You know, you getting shot at, you gambling, you jacking, everything is going down. And there was always a group of niggas over there, a group of the homies over there, always doing what they do, you know?
So.
And it was like say the sprinklers at a house we hung out in the garage. To get back there, you really had to be on it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a test ground. And then, like, far as Big Rick Face, and everybody that, like you got to keep this in mind. That was in the beginning, so we trying to build a brand. So, as far as the guys I hung out with mostly, that's where we was at Big Rick House on Arlington or down the street at Johnny and them house or around the corner on 6th, 7th at Joe Rat House. You know, every now and then we might be at my house on 2nd Ave. You know, but between 70th and 67th on Arlington, that was considered kind of like a hell of a block.
I mean, were you guys like campaigning it, writing it on walls and like putting it in the forefront? Or this is just something within the hood and spoken only amongst homies here and there? Or is this shit something serious?
It got wrote on walls, but it wasn't like it was no division from the hood. You know, just we on Arlington. This is where it's at. AG, you know what I'm saying? Because that's where about 50, that's where you go find 15, 20 dudes at any given time. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm talking about some reputable dudes go over there. Then I mean, as far as like, you know, people from different hoods used to come over Big Rick House. You know, and that's basically what that was about. And then we was getting money and everything else. So we just kind of, it's just like a distinction in the hood. You know what I'm saying? This is where we at, this is what we represent, this is our crew over there. You know what I mean?
So speaking of money, that gives me my lead in. When homies speak about the first millionaire out of the hood, Joe Rat's name comes up. What can you tell me about Joe Rat's rise economically in the hood? How did that even start?
Okay, look, Joe was a hell of a hustler. All of them used to get money. Joe was a real competitive dude. He might hustle with me, Black, our crew, because that's the crew I ran. We might hustle all day. We might branch off to go with our girlfriends. He kept it hustling, because in the beginning, he really wasn't in the girls like that. He was more in the money. You know what I mean? He was the first nigga, you know, with 1,000 over there when we was kids. You know what I mean? But we all used to compete. We all used to get money. Joe, put it like this, man. Our whole situation with the guys, we was known for getting money. So over a course of time, people was having their turn. Stag and Billy, them, they was robbing jewelry. They was robbing grocery stores. And then me, Nelsy, John L, them come. We was with the jewelry. We started to hit the jewelry store. So we had to shine. We had a lot of money. We brought the pimped out Groms over there and all that kind of shit, you know, and all that. But then when crack came and the powder came, Joe was selling powder and it wasn't really going at first. You know what I'm saying? But once it started going, he just took off. You know what I mean? Because he basically, in the beginning, he basically had the hood by itself for it selling dope. You know what I mean? Some of us, then the rest of us started catching on. But what brought Rich Rollin to the forefront, that phrase, is when he put it on the back of the El Camino.
Sitting reminiscing about the days of way back. Rich Rollin, big kid, dollar folders, gun holders with the gym on the rollers. Keep taking this a fire, but the stone shit. Don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Rich, with the color handkerchief hanging up my back pocket. Sitting reminiscing about the days of way back. Rich Rollin, never stolen. Same niggas come, same niggas go. Rich Rollin, never stolen. Keep it holding. Keep it rich rollin'. Keep it rich rollin'. Keep it rich rollin'. It don't make dollars, it don't make sense. With the color handkerchief hanging up my back pocket. Keep it rich rollin'. Keep it rich rollin'. Don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Keep it rich rollin'. I got the system below the cruise controlling. My pockets was swollen like I had the rich rollin'. It don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I got the system below the cruise controlling. My pockets was swollen like I had the rich rollin'. It don't make dollars, it don't make sense. It don't make dollars, it don't make sense. It don't make dollars. Don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Rich Rollin, that shit went around the town. You know what I mean? I had a minor bird named Rich Rollin Richie, but it ain't take off like the Elko, because the Elko was all over the city. And you know, that's when niggas was having the Elko, they being pimped out, and it was in that gold leaf, that big ass gold leaf, Rich Rollin. And Rudolph used to drive that motherfucker everywhere. You know what I mean?
Oh, so Joe Rat coined the phrase Rich Rollin.
I'm not saying that. I can't say for sure who coined the phrase. Like I say, it's a debate. I don't know. We were saying that where it come from, I don't know. But Joe Rat, the one who made it famous. Because at the same time he had the Elko, I had a spot on Hoover and 71st where I was getting money too. You know, I just came home from doing like 300 days up north for trying to rob a jewelry store, stealing a car to go rob one, right? And like I had a minor burden, Rich Rollin Rich, you know what I mean? And all that. So it was we was already saying it, but it didn't go, like they would say these times, viral until Joe Rat put it on the back of the Elko. Took it around the city because he had the bag.
What year did he have this Elko?
That was 83.
I was told a story that Petey Wack coined the phrase Rich Rollin because his cousin was Waterhead Bo. And Waterhead Bo put Petey Whack on, and that's when he got the holler in there.
Man, look, man. If that's what they want to believe, that's what they want to believe, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna sit up here and have no debate. I'm just telling you, Wack didn't have more money than Joe, and it didn't have money before Joe. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, look, check this out. In '83, it wasn't a whole lot of niggas with big sacks. You know what I mean? Because I remember when Joe put 70,000, Keys was going for 35, 40,000. He put 70,000 in the back of his green two-seater Benz, sent Ryan Miller all over LA to buy 2 birds, and couldn't nobody come up with it at that time. So that's before Waterhead bought them and Freeway Rick and all that. You know what I'm saying? He was having money. Now, he was a quiet dude, you know, but Joe fucked with the whole city. You know what I mean? Pretty much.
When you hear about the high rollers in the 80s, citywide, you hear about Tootie Reese, Waterhead Bo.
Well, Tootie Reese was out the 70s. Tootie Reese was out the 70s. Waterhead Bo them came when crack got big. You know what I mean? And they was a high rollers. You know what I'm saying? Freeway Rick, I remember when he came up. You know what I'm saying? The Haneys, Whitey them on the east side. There's a whole bunch of people that came up off of cocaine in the 80s.
It seems like Joe Rat's being overlooked as far as being put in that hierarchy of high rollers in LA. Because
we didn't function like that. You know what I'm saying? As far as like being out there, I mean, Joe had the money, but he wasn't one of them dudes. We might go to Carolina West and all that, but we was on a whole different kind of issue. You know what I'm saying? They was on some dope dealer issues. We was gangbangers, you know, that just happened to have money at that time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, niggas was players, niggas was getting pimped out, all that. You know what I'm saying? You know, but when we coming with the noise, you know, when we showed up. You know, that's all it was, though.
Located on Century Boulevard near the LA airport, Carolina West was one of the most popular clubs in all of Los Angeles during the 1970s. By 1977, the bowling alley was history. It was replaced by a new bar, which attracted the players, the drug dealers, and the jackers from all over town. The music was loud, the players played, the jackers plotted, and the women fully nude. It only cost you $1 to get in back then, but if you came late, it cost you $3.50. It was kind of like Soul Train, because this is where everybody came to learn the latest dances. The band, Gino Denti and the Family, played one soul tune after another. Things started to swing around 11 p.m. Clubs and bars in LA are notoriously known for closing early, but at Carolina West, things kept swinging past 2 a.m. until 6 a.m. when the bar reopened. In August of 2009, 5607 West Century Boulevard would be no more. It was demolished for expansion for the LAX airport.
So when Joe Rat was initially rising economically, was he having spots in the hood, or was he citywide?
He had spots. He had a whole bunch of spots. And he was giving everybody work. You know what I mean? Because he had that plug. You know what I'm saying? When I came home, I got my first sack from Joe. You know, because before then, I mean, it was around. It just wasn't relevant. You know what I mean? Like I tell people, I went there 200 some days. Before I went, Joe was struggling. You know what I'm saying? We was robbing jewelry stores. I used to see Joe. We used to give him bread and do whatever. You know what I'm saying? He was still doing his thing. And then and from December to from December '82 to March of fucking '83, Joe made like 50 bands. He had did like, I think he went to jail from January to February, but from February to mid-March, he made like 50 bands. I'm like, damn, cocaine selling like this. I'm calling from jail. And he was like, yeah. You know, that's how it goes.
So basically, Joe had a monopoly on the hood, and since he was the first original hustler in the land, that's what gave him that opportunity to be that.
Nah, man, he wasn't no first original hustler, man.
I mean, as far as the crack game is concerned.
Man, I mean, even on that, he was the homie that was selling powder and crack. You know what I'm saying? But when you say original hustler, the whole hood been hustling since the 70s. Joe just was the guy that came up with the sack at the right time. You know what I'm saying? And he was the first one to really market the hood like that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, there wasn't no big sacks back then until it got private, because, you know, you got to keep this in mind. Before cocaine hit our neighborhood, niggas was rough hustling. You know, in order to have money, you was robbing something, you was taking something, you know what I mean? You get your gamble on whatever. You running jewelry stores, grocery stores, you taking shit down. You know what I mean? And then a whole lot of people weren't cut like that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of niggas was on drugs, you know what I mean? Because they hit licks and whatever. You know what I'm saying? And the flossing niggas was a high side, big bank, take little bank. Let's burn up $100 bills to use fake stock. So it was always been a hustler in there. You know what I mean? Joe just took that cocaine game in the hood to a different level.
Do you give Joe, at his height, millionaire status?
Man, look, check this out. I don't count nobody's money, but I don't know if he ever had $1 million. I wouldn't doubt it, though, because I was with him one night. He picked up like 300-something thousand. You know what I'm saying? Back then in the 80s, that was a lot of bread. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't doubt that. But I mean, I don't know about the millionaire status, because that's later on in the game. You know what I mean? You know, if you brought up Tootie Reese, Tootie Reese been in the hood since the 70s, been having money. You know what I mean? And then before the city turned crack, you got to give the boys, the water boys, they had all the money. When I hit the feds in '79, I met like DJ them out the Nicholson, fellas out of Compton. They was having plates already full of diamonds. That's the first time I ever seen some shit like that. And that was '79. That shit didn't hit our hood that big until the '80s.
So for most people, when you think about the homies that had bread, Joe Rat's name comes up, and then Little Waco's name comes up. And
Lil Waco came up in doing the cocaine game in the like Waco came up in the like the late '80s. You know what I'm saying?
You say the late '80s?
Yeah, he was grinding mid to late '80s. You know, mid to late '80s. You know what I'm saying?
And I think he was locked down in the late '80s. I think it was probably mid. They said he was a protege of Joe Rat. Is that true? He was,
because Joe was giving him sack. Man, Waco was a good hustling youngster, man. You know what I mean? Like when Catman them all them had a Volkswagen stuff. Him and Peanut came on my spot. I gave Waco a Volkswagen, because that's when they was driving Volkswagens, fixing them up. I had what I got from the salvage yard. I was going to pimp it out, but Waco wanted that car, because Catman, the rest of them ran that ball in the car. I give it to him, but he didn't know how to register it because it came from the salvage yard. He didn't know how to get the pink, you know what I mean, and then it ended up getting impounded, you know what I'm saying? But Waco, he was just a smart youngster, and he knew how to get his bread. And then he just got the right connection, got the slap no Porsche, and took off. You know what I mean?
Do you know the story behind how him and Joe Rat befriended each other, and he became his protege? Do you know the story behind that?
No, I can't. That's something personal that we'll never know, because both of them gone. You know what I mean? But Waco was around. You know what I'm saying? Waco used to see, like, anytime back then, anytime that you was relevant and you function, you gonna fuck with all of us. You know what I mean? You gonna pick and choose who you dealt with. You know what I mean? There's no getting around that. I don't care who say what. You know what I mean? Because as far as the money getting, the hitting licks, you know, you're going to deal with one of us. You know what I mean? And, you know, and that's just how that went. It was just a bunch of real niggas trying to do real shit. And Joe just had that bag, man, that sack. We all had sacks, though.
You spoke on Carolina West earlier. For the audience that doesn't know what Carolina West is, what is that?
It was the club where all the niggas that had a little change at that time, you know what I'm saying, used to go. That's before the Paradises. It was that and Proud Bird. But see, that was a regular spot where people go on Wednesdays, Thursdays, whatever nights it was, and you go up there and you represent wherever you from. You know what I'm saying? And you try to get the girls, you shoot me, they had pool tables. You just up there just having a good time.
So nobody, not one gang dominated Carolina West. That was open to the city.
Nah. But we felt that we dominated wherever we went, though. You know, I mean, you know, I ain't trying to be arrogant. That's just how we felt. I'm quite sure other people felt the same way. You know what I mean?
You know, they said Little Weasel, the night he passed away, he was at Carolina West. And then after it was over, he went to the Steakhouse. Do you know anything about that Steakhouse on Western in Manchester?
Yeah, Fast and Steakhouse. I was there that night. We all went up there. You know what I mean? Well, matter of fact, when I was leaving, you know what I mean, F-Bone and Weasel was still sitting in the booth. I walked past the guy. But again, you know, we'll leave to Carolina West. We'll go down there to get something to eat. And that was on Manchester and Western. You know, we knew it was hot, we knew the war was going on, but you just had a lot of arrogant people. Sometimes your arrogance, sometimes you smarter than your common sense. You know what I mean? And that's just something, that was like another little spot in LA where if you was a real guy, real hustler, you gonna go get you something to eat at the steakhouse, because it's Fast Eddie's Steakhouse. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how that was, you know what I mean? So that wasn't like a one-night Erskine. We used to just go through that, you know?
So Fast Eddie passed away. For the audience that is not familiar with Fast Eddie, what was his reputation in town?
He was just a good hustling dude, man, just getting that money, man. He was doing all kind of, you know, he just had that name.
So let me ask you something. So you guys would leave Carolina West and go eat at the steakhouse knowing it was in the smack dead in the middle of ETG hood?
Yeah. Yep. You know, we did, it was just part of the game. You know what I mean?
Speaking on Lil Weasel, he was having his little bread for a second too. They said his main connection was Harry O. Did you know anything about that?
Nah, but it's a lot of connections. I mean, for the dope game, everybody got cousins and people they know from different spots. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, you know, like I used to have some of the enemies in the hood selling dope. You know what I mean? I ain't no sense to be set up here lying. You know what I mean? But it was just out of respect, though. But I didn't know who they was. You know, because I was in the feds with the dude. I see him in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, he was older than me. He wasn't no gang banger. But we was talking about getting some bread. And he said he had a spot on 59th and Rimpole. So when I go over there, I don't know them youngsters. It's Keith, Fudge from VNG and Eight Tray, but I'm getting this bread over there. So I used to run the homies through that, Cousin Carrie, Black Cow, and everybody come through there, and they brought it to my attention. That's this, because they over there banging on them. I'm like, man, this, you know.
Wait a minute. Rewind. Ace Rap from VNG had a spot on 59th.
He didn't have a spot. He was a worker, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was the dude that brought him over there. I don't know if he knew they was gangbangers tonight. They were just some youngsters. You know what I mean? Ace, come on, they were just some Fred or whatever his name. But it wasn't like the one. Once I got over there and seen that, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, this shit ain't gonna fly over here. You know what I mean? Because of Kerry brought it to my attention. Because I go over there and they calling me. I gotta come over there like, nigga, y'all back up. This is my spot. You know what I mean? But we was getting that bread. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that worked.
So let me ask you something. Around 1981, the dudes that lived and functioned around Arlington off of 67th started going to jail. The Doe Rat and his crew. The Doe Eyes and his crew. Big Rick got locked down in 81. Where were you at in 81 when everybody was getting locked down?
In 81, I was just coming home out the feds. See, like when I left Crenshaw 78, I went to Texas for about 8 or 9 months. You know what I mean? Just my parents wanted me out the house, whatever, right? When Tyrone got killed, that's when I came back. So when I get back, you know what I'm saying? It took me about 6 days to get back. My brother and C-Dub had a spot on Hoover, so we over there functioning, doing what we do, trying to figure shit out. So the first thing we do, me and Joe Rat, we burglarize and all this shit. So I get up the park. And I go get my bread, get my tailor-made clothes, because I had an afro when I came back, get my shit laid, you know, and we doing our shit. All that while, you know, I caught a case in like 6 months after I was here, like in August or something, me and C-Dub. But all that while, we was trying to figure out what we was going to do with the 8 trays. You know what I'm saying? The niggas, Rick caught the murder. You know what I mean? He went on the run. We end up at the St. Andrews Park trying to figure it out. That's when Cody tell you about the big squabble and all that. And I'm hollering at Rayford about what's going on. He was telling me he run the 8 trays. I'm telling her, well, I'm up here today. It ain't no leaders in the 60s, but we here, whatever. So all that situation going on. You know what I mean? Me, Doyle, and them, all them functioning. You know what I mean? When I go to the feds, a lot of shit pop off. And then when I come home, it was really popping. You know what I'm saying? And it was a situation where some shit jumped off over where I was there on 85th in Kansas, between Kansas and Butler. And before I went, me, Rayford, Rip, Keithstone, we was trying to figure it out. I think Baycott was with Rayford, and it didn't pop off. So when I came home, there was a rumor around that I shot Lil GC. Right? So they come to the house late night, you know what I mean? You know, and the homies had already told me we had war with these dudes for real, leave some guns there, whatever. So I'm kind of like tripping, like whatever. So I had been home about a week. Lil Bam from Eight Tray Hoover came by before he caught his case, and we used to just chop it up, still trying to figure it out. But then the night when they tried to come get me, things changed. You know what I mean? I moved from over there, and then things just changed, bro.
This is what I wanted to touch on. We can take this out if you want to, but I wanted to touch on this. So, in 1981, basically the kids on Arlington from the 1970s basically were getting locked down, and it kind of waned away. But then some other kids on the other side of the tracks on Arlington started coming of age and claiming AG. Was there any connection between the 1970s AG and the 1980s AG on the other side, or this was something totally different?
Check this out, bro. When you talk about AG, it never went away until probably in the 90s or whatever, when niggas got over. It wasn't no stopped in the 80s. AGs was AGs. Now, Poochie, the one who took AG to Big D now, you know what I mean? Because they reminded him of us. Now, you can ask Big D that for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? As far as but AG had already been a hot name, already been famous, you know, because we was niggas getting money way before the dope game. And we was niggas over there gonna check your pockets if you come over there and all that. You know what I mean? So,
but there was a point in time where it shifted over there to where Poochie was at.
I don't know if it shifted or it just was a continuation or extension. However they describe it on that side, that's their perception, that's their reality, bro. You know what I'm saying? But you know, for the name AG come between Florence to wherever. I mean, you on Arlington. So it wasn't like niggas picking and choosing. But I mean, check it out. It was 20, 30 motherfuckers on that block. Maybe that might be a little exaggeration, but it was at least 15, 20 cats come off of that strip. It wasn't no one block. It was from Florence all the way down. And if you let us tell it, that included F-Bone and all that, even though they wasn't functioning with us like that, because they was young kids at that time when we was really putting it down. They younger than us. You know what I'm saying? But now, when they start coming of age, and Arlington name was already branded, and they on Arlington, I can see them like picking that up like we AGs. You know what I'm saying? And just continuing that legacy. Before starting that legacy, that's a different situation. You know what I mean? And then it's like this here. The guys on us at the 70s and the 80s, we was the ones setting the standards of a whole lot of shit. How to dress, how to act, how to carry yourself. Because we was getting money. You know what I mean? They can say, people can decide how they want to view it, how they want to view it. But the reality is, whatever level, whatever you want to talk about over there, it was happening on Arlington. Get money, and then not just on our block, but that's just my crew. That's what I speak up for. We was getting money. We was functioning. You know, we was all reputables. We was staying down. We had a lot of influence over the hood. You know what I'm saying? But everything goes. I mean, everything changed, bro. Don't nothing remain the same. You know what I mean? That's just like one of the things like when they was like, who led the Sixers? It was some founders in the beginning. We all started off in the beginning, but it wasn't no one person bigger than that whole area over there. So we didn't look at it like that. That's why we always say ain't no leaders in the Sixers. It was just a pecking order.
Well, let me stop you there. When you look at Babyface's legacy, he kind of consolidated the hood from Western to Fox Hills. He consolidated Kyle's crew over there by Horseman. He consolidated Snoop Dogg's crew in the avenues. He consolidated the kids up here, Cat, Mouse, Pinky, and all that. How can you not give him leader status?
Who said he didn't have leader status? It wasn't no one leader. It wasn't nobody bigger. You just said it. You just explained it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You had Kyle now. You know what I'm saying? You had us on Arlington, which was functioning with Pinky, the rest of them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Face was like the glue, but it was a bunch of glue going around. You had Kyle them, you had Snoop them, You know what I mean? You had a whole bunch of cats around there.
Yeah, but when you look at Face, man, he kind of moved like Raymond Washington. When you look at Raymond Washington's legacy, how he moved throughout the city, consolidating the Crips as one unit, that's kind of how Babyface did it on a smaller level within our neighborhood.
I know Babyface is my guy, but I talk to Face, man. I mean, look, bro. Look at the pictures, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Ask real. I mean, Face he was the top of that pecking order. Him and Big Rick in the country. You know what I'm saying? Remember, because he functioned with us. You know what I mean? He one was setting a lot of the standards, you know what I'm saying, on how we conduct ourselves, where we going. Now, he took us through the whole city because Face knew a whole bunch of people. Face a couple of years older than me, but this the main point is this. When you talk about the Sixers getting started and building that brand, the oldest cat over there at the beginning might have been 17. You know, 16, 17 years old, right? Because like in 74, I was 14. I turned 15 in March of 75. You know what I'm saying? And we had in the 9th grade, whatever, right? So the oldest homie over there from 60 was maybe 16. You might have had somebody 17 that I don't know all their birthday, but that's it. You know what I mean? So now we got to go out here and function with the whole city that's already established. You know what I mean? My personal crew would just have to be with Face them, Brick them, Pinky them, all that. You know, you had Kyle them and you had Anthony Hatchett them, and Rip them. Rip was with us. You know what I'm saying? And then we wearing tailors, representing, we wearing khakis, we doing all that. But we had to stay down. We had to build that brand. So I don't understand where you. I know what you're saying, but it's a little more complicated than that. You know what I'm saying? So but Face made a lot of shit happen, but you got to give Kyle them some credit. You know what I mean? Snoop them all them. You know what I'm saying? Got to give all of them some credit. But Face was kind of like he was he was the Face as you could say now. You know what I'm saying? Back then in the beginning, him and Rick now, because he went over the city. He took it to the whole city, bro.